Good morning, happy Saturday. We're talking about kids and their behaviors. I know. I hear this all the time. If you have a child, do not care what age the child is, as long as they're not an adult necessarily, But it would apply to adults. So, your child is demonstrating behavior that you're not crazy about. The school isn't crazy about. The community is not crazy about. I want you to stop and ask yourself, who in our house is also demonstrating that behavior? Who do we know is also demonstrating this behavior in your immediate circle? Because, in all likelihood, that behavior is a learned behavior. If your child doesn't want to face problems, if they panic, if they're what teachers would consider lazy and they don't do their homework, if they just want to focus on video games all day long, if they ignore everybody, stop and ask yourself, who else is doing this? Is it you? Do you have this attitude about life in general? You don't want to deal with life, so you get focused on your phone, just like they do on their games. You don't want to deal with anybody, talk to anybody. Does dad want to sit on the sofa and watch sports all day and not talk to anybody, not deal with anybody, saying, I have a stressful job, least you can do is leave me alone? Just like the child's going to say, I've had a bad day at school, just leave me alone. It's a learned behavior. Now, in my case, in my family, when I was a little girl and I was growing up, my mother, God rest her soul, would catastrophize everything. She loved nothing more than being upset every day and making the worst of the situation. I can hear plain as day, oh my God. That was the byline. And she would grab a cigarette and a cup of coffee. Oh my God. So when I was little, and she would wring her hands and pace the floor and she was really worked up, that's what I would do. She was my role model. And I thought in my little Brenda brain, in our family, this is what girls do. This is how I'm supposed to react. This is how I'm supposed to behave every day. I was a hot mess. I was anorexic growing up. I was anorexic until I found out I was pregnant as an adult. I went through my life anorexic. Anorexia is something that you can control. Bulimia is something that you can control. You just have to find the basis. What's feeding that? What's, driving that? And address that issue. So, figure out where your child's behavior is stemming from. Is it an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent? Kids that are a little bit older, they're in school, and they're demonstrating, they're smoking, they're swearing, they're acting out, and we don't like it. Again, learned behavior, but it may be coming from a peer, from somebody they go to school with, somebody they're dating, and they think it's neat and cool, and they're trying to fit in. It's a learned behavior. The nice thing about learned behaviors, they can be unlearned. You can modify that. You can change it. It's up to you. Once they realize, it's not really so cool, you look kind of stupid, people they really want to be around aren't going to behave like that, they will change the behavior. If it is you or somebody in your household demonstrating that behavior, like it was in my household, you have to make changes in your life. No more avoiding problems. Face them head on. No more staying on your phone for hours and ignoring everybody else. No more being a couch potato and just focusing on the game, focusing on your book, hitting the bar with friends. When you have a child, that child becomes center stage. From the moment they're born till the moment they're out of your house into college, or they're married, or whatever it is in your family, they have your full attention. They are your responsibility. Your life just went out the window because they have priority. They have to be the priority. a lot of times parents, caregivers, don't realize that you're behaving this way until it's brought to your attention. It's like, yeah, but, well, I don't care about the but. Stop it. If you want your child's behavior to change your behavior. It's a learned behavior that you're modeling. From age 0, as soon as they're born, until they're, until they're 10 or 12 years old, they're learning everything from you. From you, your husband, who's in your family, in your household. Those are the building block years. That's the years that you're teaching them. In our family, this is how we deal with grief. This is how we deal with a crisis. This is how we deal with a problem. What are you teaching them? Are you giving them really good, solid foundations? If we have a problem, okay, you may not like it. Take a deep breath. Figure out why we don't like it. Instead of panicking, okay, this isn't going to be fun, but we got to do it. This may be messy, but we've got to do it. Do it. Pretty simple. Look at your behavior. If your child is getting in trouble at school for fighting, who's fighting at home? Does somebody have some anger issues? What's going on at home? I know even in kids in preschool, the teachers, at least here, they will ask if the child is suddenly biting and kicking, and you have a 3-year-old, 2-year-old that's acting out. Can't have that. They will ask the parent, okay, is there something going on at home? Is everything okay? Well, usually there's a problem. And if the child isn't speaking yet, they don't have words to use to say, excuse me, mother, we need to have a dialogue. I'm rather upset. They will kick and bite and fight and hit. It's the only way they have to communicate. So if they're seeing people hit each other at home, kick each other at home, be aggressive with each other at home, in their mind, this is how we handle conflict. We push, we shove, we hit, we fight. We have words. If you have a conflict with someone, tell them. Find out why you have a conflict. If you don't like them, why don't you like them? Is it because something about them reminds you of yourself? That's very common. But if you don't like your child's behavior, look at your behavior. Look at your household. See where it's coming from before you start pointing fingers.